Hello, and welcome to Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring. My name is Tim, and this is my good buddy Joel.
Hello.
How's it going, Joel?
It's going well. This is a very different approach for you tonight, Tim.
Well, you may have noticed that I was a little bit quieter. It's because the theme didn't quite play, so I was very muted. Now the theme is playing as we're speaking. So, you know. That was the theme song for the show, everybody. Welcome to the show. Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring. It's Thursday night.
Why don't you give him the real deal intro, the one that you always do? Yes, kid.
You're with Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring. And tonight we're going to talk about wrestling. And about money, baby! I bought into GME. And I am rich. I'm not at all. I'm so sad. I saw it happening. I didn't buy in.
Tim, the best I could do throughout all of that was potato you.
You have a potato.
I always have potatoes ready for when I need to potato my opponents. And if you want to potato your opponents, you can like this video right now, show them who's boss. You can subscribe to our channel at youtube.com/TimandJoelPod. You can leave us some tip jar love over at streamlabs.com/TimandJoelPod. My God, after this show at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, if you're watching live, you can watch Tim and I play Mario Kart 64 over on the Fightful Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be us. It's going to be Jeremy Lambert. It's going to be our friend Hannah. We're all going to play some video games. We're all going to talk mad guff at each other. But I'm going to say some nice things right now. Okay, Tim?
Okay, you can try, but
I
don't know. Do you have it in you?
I have nice things. Nice things to say.
Nice things to say. All right.
Yes, because we start tonight giving our congratulations, our mazel tov, if you're one of my people, to Mia Yim and Keith Lee on their engagement.
Cool.
The happy couple announced earlier this evening that they are engaged, and that's really nice because they are all wonderful people. So I am looking forward to crashing the wedding, as I'm sure you will as well, Tim.
No, you sick, weird man. Leave them alone.
Why not?
Because that's very much not okay. You are not friends with them. You just watch them on TV. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm not bailing you out if you do that.
I just want to celebrate love.
That's not how you do that. Do it with maybe a nice tweet, maybe, or what you've done on this show. That's where it ends, sir. That's where it ends.
Okay, but it doesn't end for you if you send us some tip jar love at streamlabs.com/TimandJoelPod.
No, because Otis might shout, and then someone will jiggle on screen and be like, "Oh, this person gave us some money."
So, oh yeah, that's still a thing that happens.
I think it's still a thing that happens. We'll see. Do a test for us. Donate some money, and we'll see if it's broken or not. Like everything else.
We've really got money though because Shane McMahon came back this past week on Raw.
Here comes the money.
It's a big return and then a subsequent departure.
Yeah, it wasn't even his idea. He just showed up to. Why did he show up, Joel?
Basically, he showed up to help Adam Pearce announce the Elimination Chamber match.
Does he dislike Adam Pearce? Because it seems like Adam Pearce is going to get beat up now. Like, that's such a weird thing to do.
He gave him the good job, and Adam Pearce had this uncertain look on his face, kind of questioning everything. I don't know. It's very strange. Who expects that?
I feel like it's because Adam Pearce was listening to our show on Sunday, the weekly draw, where we were talking about how there's no way in hell that the Elimination Chamber is going to be Drew McIntyre. It's going to be Roman Reigns and friends. And here we are, as they've thrown our entire beautiful writing package into the waste bin. Don't care for it. Don't care for it at all.
Yeah, it really broke us to the point where, now we're talking about completely changing the format of Weekly Draw on PW Unlimited, where we drop our weekly content for you all. Now I'm like, well, I can't trust myself anymore.
What do we know?
I can't tell you what's going on. We don't know anything.
Who are we to be writing this? Huh? Yeah, we try to predict things, and like if they want to surprise me, at least surprise me in a way that it's interesting, something that is different, not 5 of the slowest wrestlers in WWE today because they've seasoned vets.
I mean, it's only been, what, 11 years since some of these people have been champion. In the case of Jeffrey Hardy,
Yeah.
Michael the Miz Mizanin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sheamus held a championship in 2015. There's
Sheamus is
that.
good. Sheamus is good at
He's
least. But
actually really
again,
good. Yeah.
Sheamus versus Drew would have been a great match. This is unnecessary to me. I'm so
So,
disappointed.
so let's go back to the moment when Shane and Adam Pearce are in the ring. Shane gets out of the ring, and AJ Styles comes, strolling out, and he's got Omos with him. And of course, Omos was the big, tall man at the door of Raw Underground. And everyone was saying on their post shows, like, Shane and Omos didn't have a moment. They did have a moment. I went back and watched it. They looked at each other, they kind of tipped hat, and then walked away. It was
Yeah.
What did you expect? Shane to be like, "Hey, I remember you. You used to work for me." No,
Exactly. Like,
it was it was a tip of the hat.
it must be nice to have those types of working relationships with some of your former bosses, y'all. Because, like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's a few bosses who'd see me and not even remember who I was. Like,
And meanwhile, you had AJ and Shane McMahon, who have also had a bit of a tiff in the past, and they kind of sized each other up for a sec before again Shane looked at almost Omas, O regular mas, O negative, B positive. I don't know.
yeah.
They change his name every week, and then he walked away, and that was it. And so Drew McIntyre goes and finds Shane, who's like waiting to get into his car and leave the Tropicana field. And he's like relating back to the history between Drew and Shane, being like, "Yeah, I thought you'd tell me. We're best pals, right? What's going on?" And Shane's all like, come on, man, big match, be a big man who cares and wants to win big matches." And anyway, my point being, they had to turn off the car in the middle of that segment, which made me laugh really
Yeah, it was
loud.
pretty great.
But no, my actual point is actually that Shane McMahon's not a storyline owner or official in WWE. We He just kind of showed up, made the match, and left. So my question becomes, what the hell are we going to do with Shane McMahon come WrestleMania season? Because we're in it now.
Yeah, I don't. Is that what you think it is? They're hinting at him having a role for, like, I know he likes to show up for the big deals, but, like, I don't know, man. Like, where are we going with this whole thing? Like, it feels like maybe Drew's losing the title because, like, oh, he's beset on all sides. Like, what? I don't know. It just feels odd to put him into the chamber with all these people. Um, one of which I don't think is even going to be in there come time. So, I don't know.
Who do you think that is?
Jeff Hardy. Like, I
Oh
just
yeah,
don't.
that's right.
I don't even see him making it into this match. I like the hurt knee angle was coming into play again when he was wrestling AJ. Like,
Let's get back to that. We'll get back to that notion because I think we have something to unpack there.
okay,
So yeah, so Drew and Shane had their little interaction, and then for some reason Sheamus goes up to Adam Pearce, and he's all just like, "Hey, Drew promised me a one-on-one match, and this is what I wanted, and why can't I get it?" And then Pearce toes the line and says, "Oh, biggest match possible, pal. This is what we wanted." And so my question becomes like, are they playing some sort of like keep away game between Drew and Sheamus for a one-on-one match? Maybe to get to WrestleMania, maybe to get to Fastlane. Is there something? How are we building it? Is it really going to be Drew and Sheamus as we move forward to WrestleMania?
like, and that's the thing. I would love it to be that. I have no faith that it is going to be that. And part of me is terrified that it's going to be Randy Orton versus the Fiend at WrestleMania with a championship for no good reason. That's what makes me a little bit nervous. So, the fact that they've introduced, like, the chamber for the Raw belt is making me nervous. I don't know how to take it.
They did the same thing to us with the Royal Rumble, though. Remember, we had Goldberg, and everyone was like, "Oh, Goldberg's going to win," and we're all screwed. But then we saw what happened next. Goldberg did not win. The match delivered for what it was, and we were
Yep.
all like, "Okay, cool." And Drew still looks strong. They're putting Drew in these positions to be stronger and stronger in a different way from where it is with Roman. Roman's character is stronger and stronger. Drew's performances are stronger and stronger. So the two champions are strong in their own different ways. Obviously, with the face heel dynamic, that plays a part. But I'm going to go back to Shane again. Both Shane and Adam Pearce toe the line of we're giving you a big match. So again, where does Shane factor into WrestleMania? It's not going to be a Shane McMahon versus, I see Goldberg in the chat. Shane versus Goldberg. No, no. Please no. It's not going to be
Absolutely
Drew and
not.
Shane. We're not going to do that.
He
But
does
where does
have
Shane
another
McMahon
match.
exist? That's true.
Yeah.
But where does Shane McMahon exist in the WrestleMania spectrum? Does he walk someone down to the ring? Do they play? Remember WrestleMania X7? That was one of your favorites, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So someone posted a photo recently with the handshake seen around the world with Austin and McMahon. And they said, who has been in the same situation since? Or what moment has made you feel the same way as this picture did? Now, could you see Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre shaking hands again, being friends? Drew turns and becomes a bad guy as WWE champion to save his championship reign at WrestleMania. Do you see that as something possible?
That would be pretty cool. Like he's gone. He'll have gone almost a full year like as champion. You know, he dropped it that one time, but like he basically towed the championship line for the entire year. He's done a great job, my opinion. They seem to be over him, which hopefully, you know what, this Elimination Chamber match is just to continue doing that, putting him over. Maybe he does the next year as heel, and we see how he does it. That right, like that would be exciting to me. That's a good angle. I'd be cool. I'd be cool with that. Maybe that is in the cards. Maybe that's what Shane's got planned all the while. You know, they're just doing the bit for the cameras.
And we keep teasing Adam Pearce having matches, then not having matches. Maybe there's something for Shane and Adam Pearce to have a match. Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm just here to see what Shane McMahon can jump off of. Because if it's not a burning helicopter crashing from the sky and him delivering an elbow drop from it, I don't know what you can do. I don't know what to tell you here.
They had the chance to do stuff like that last year with the cinematic matches, you know?
That's true.
He could have had a whole stunt double involved, but oh well. I guess he likes to do it himself. He is.
So we have our Elimination Chamber
now, though. Yeah.
I think he's pushing 50. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have our Elimination Chamber match. It's Drew McIntyre taking on Sheamus, taking on AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, and The Miz, who holds Money in the Bank as well. So kind of a win-win for him anyway. The angle being every single person in the chamber is a former WWE champion. Cool. Got it. You were talking about Jeff Hardy with the injury angle. What do you think we can do with Jeff Hardy? Is he going to tough it out, go into the chamber, put on performance? Do we take him out of the chamber, replace him with somebody else? If so, whom? What do you think?
Like, that's the thing. There's so many more deserving people, I think, but they have not built them. Like, they're not in a position to really swap out a whole lot of people other than maybe The Fiend, who, again, I don't want him coming back yet. Jeff Hardy could go in and put his life at risk because that's, you know, he keeps having these, like, work rate matches, and then every now and again he'll do something that nearly kills him on, like, a Raw randomly, which is exciting but terrifying at the same time because it's like, dude, you did this. Like, it's kind of like, this is the last hurrah. What's going to happen? Like, so I don't know. I'm nervous because if they put him in there, it might, like, how do they make these matches big anymore? Even like they just don't have the big match feel since we are doing them yearly. The risk doesn't seem there, but if you put Jeff Hardy in it, I have a feeling maybe there's going to be something. So like, there's room for him in it. It's just, I don't know if he can pull off whatever spot he's got planned in that chamber.
You can put Kofi Kingston in there and you can have just as much fun with it.
Another former Raw champion. No, he's preoccupied getting yelled at by Mustafa Ali in increasingly cartoonish fashion.
But as our friend Alex says in the chat, you know, wouldn't it have made sense to put Kofi in the chamber and have Ali steal his moment, and Ali, just like Ali claims Kofi did to him? What if you put Kofi in the chamber and then somehow Retribution opens the chamber or takes his pod out from the back and beats him up and takes him out of the match completely? Ali can't join the match because of what's happened, but we're one person down from the chamber when we get there. What do you do that? I still feel like the match for Mania is Ali versus Kofi or some sort of elimination match with Retribution. And what I would do with that is have the stipulation that if Ali wins, then the New Day are no more. That's it. They have to they can no longer tag team. Or if Ali loses, if Kofi beats Ali, Retribution disbands and it's over. No more Retribution.
I actually think that's a really good journey, and it would work to put Kofi in this because they got to stretch it out. So Why not do it? Like, that would be a good bit. Who else is a former champion on Raw right now?
There aren't many.
Yeah,
And
I
the thing
know.
is, you're only counting WWE champions. You're not counting Universal champions.
Yeah.
I remember on Monday I pulled up the roster. There were not many available. But
Interesting.
what is available to you right now is you can leave a like on this video, huh? Do that. Maybe subscribe to us over at timandjoelpod.com. Yes. By the way, if you're watching Raw Talk on the WWE Network, it's free. Ali was on, and not only was he on commentary on Raw, but he was on Raw Talk as well. And holy crap, he yells like a madman. He is angry, and he plays it so well.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gotten a bit much for me sometimes. Like, it's frothingly angry, and like, you know what? No, like, there are people in this world who sound like that.
Like, no, it's true.
Like, some of his, like, he contradicts himself. It sounds nonsensical at times, but like, there's no shortage.
You know what he sounds like? Sounds like wrestling Twitter.
Yes, he does. He's
I'm sure he does.
Wrestling Twitter. Yeah, he's leaning into that on purpose.
All right, let's move on, shall we?
Yeah.
Charlotte, Lacey Evans,
Oh my God.
and Asuka somewhere in the background. So, first of all, I brought this up to people offline. Ric Flair, when he came out in his paisley suit that looks like someone dumped water on it, was very strange. What was with this? Did he have an allergic reaction to something? His face was all puffed up. It felt very strange to me.
The whole segment felt off. Like,
very true.
You know, he's been like a bit more bumbly as he ages in his promos, but like this one felt weird. Like I don't know if he was drunk or like what was going on, but it just did not feel. It felt different from what we've seen even in the recent past. So it was very strange.
Yeah, I was almost waiting for him to slip tongue a little bit more than he did. I think he said that his relationship with Lacey is casual. I think he meant platonic or coaching. I don't know. Very strange.
No, like it felt weirdly personal. Like, I don't know what he was drawing on to like act this out, but it felt so strange. And like the fact that he looked weird, like just a big puffy man lisping and shouting, and I don't know.
Either way, Charlotte comes back, or she comes out and she says something like, "I didn't come this far to come this far," and I'm like, no one says that. But anyway, she then challenges Lacey Evans to a match, and of course, if Lacey Evans wins, she gets a championship match against Raw at Elimination Chamber, which is what happens after Charlotte gets herself DQ'd and gives Lacey the match. So
Asuka's gonna lose the belt. Asuka's losing the belt. It's going to Lacey. Ric Flair will help. It'll be through nefarious means, but there's no way Asuka's walking out of Elimination Chamber with it.
So I have a few notes on what I think is about to happen. So either Asuka loses the championship at the Elimination Chamber, or it's a non-finish because of Charlotte, and it becomes a triple threat at Fastlane. Lacey wins the title at Fastlane. Charlotte versus Lacey at WrestleMania. Rick screws Lacey Evans. It's a double turn, and Rick always loved his daughter. So the turn is really that Rick. It's a double turn because Charlotte's going to flip heel with Rick, and then Lacey is going to turn face, and they're going to try the Marine thing again. And now Lacey's a face again for some reason. Charlotte's the rightful heel, but their match on Raw was still awful.
No, that would be a long nonsensical con. Like, why would
It's Ric Flair. It's always a con.
She had the tag title belt and has lost it now because of all of this. Like,
there's no story to tell there.
No, you know what? Lacey Evans is pregnant by WrestleMania with Rick Childs.
Oh, baby. God. With Rick's child?
Rick Childs, baby.
With Rick Childs.
Ric Flair's child. We're throwing it back. We're going back to the Attitude Era.
God.
I don't know.
What does he give birth to a hand?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Jesus. Oh, God. Okay.
I don't know. No.
Gonna mute your mic. Never hear from you again. How about Damian Priest and Bad Bunny? Do they get a third person now that Angel Garza's joined with Miz and Morrison? What do you think? Or maybe it was Angel Garza for a week? Oh, that's actually not a bad idea. I didn't think about Andrade.
Yeah. Is he?
I
I don't know.
had
I don't know what condition he's in right now.
So here's the thing. I had two people. I had Ricochet because Ricochet never around, never on TV. Maybe it's time for him to do something. The other person was actually Lince Dorado
Yeah.
because he's Puerto Rican, just like Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. So if they're trying to build this whole Puerto Rican, culture thing, then perfect.
Yeah.
At the same time, they're just going for any Latinx people. So I like the idea of Andrade. I don't know if Andrade wants to pull himself into the mid card, and I don't know what it would do. I
Where
don't
else is
because
he gonna
the
be? Where else is he
I
gonna be? He's
guess
not gonna be a main eventer like ever. I don't
he,
think.
he can help Charlotte win the women's title.
Yeah, he could do that. I'll give him that.
We
He
have to
could
stretch
beat.
it out to Mania.
Let's have him beat up Ric Flair. Put him against Ric Flair at Mania.
It's Andrade versus Shane McMahon versus Ric Flair.
That work? Why would they?
Doesn't
Why would it
matter.
be a triple threat? What, they all have to have beef with each other?
Yeah, and then add Adam Pearce to it. Now it's going to be a fatal four-way. You're welcome. It's WrestleMania.
It's garbage.
But
You've
we
written
have to
garbage.
stretch it out to WrestleMania. We have to stretch out Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus Miz and Morrison. We have to get to Mania. So my question becomes, how do we do that? We know Miz is in the chamber, so that's going to kill one pay-per-view. What do we do? Do we have maybe Miz and Morrison can put up Money in the Bank against Damian Priest at Fastlane as a 2-on-1 match?
Oh my god.
Maybe Priest loses. It's an unfair fight. It's 2-on-1. Bad Bunny can set up a tag match. What do you think?
Is Bad Bunny a wrestler now? He's going to be around for a while, it seems. He really likes
The
wrestling.
the belief is he's training and he's committing. I mean, everything that we've heard and seen has been positive. He seems to
That's
be very
awesome.
well liked.
Yeah, I've got
Yep.
no problem with it if he is. It's just like we've spent a while on this now, so if he's going to be around, yeah, let's do it. And ultimately, it should lead to Bad Bunny and Damian versus Ms. Morrison. The problem is they will not just get rid of the Money in the Bank thing, and it's getting kind of old. That's driving me nuts. Like Edge's promo against Miz, I thought was really, really good, and that he kind of shut him down and was just like, "What are you doing? What are you doing, man?" So,
Right.
but we need to drop that Money in the Bank crap. Like it's got to get out of the picture. It's been almost a year.
Well, if we don't drop Money in the Bank, then you can drop some money for us over in our tip jar at streamlabs.com/Tim and Joel pod, or you can like this video and you can subscribe to us on YouTube, and you can watch us play video games at 9:30 p.m. Eastern tonight if you're watching us live on YouTube right now at twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. Let's move on, shall we, Tim?
Yeah, we talked at length about Raw, which was a
We
pretty
did.
slow Raw.
Impact's No Surrender is this Saturday. You want to go through a little bit of Impact, kind of run down that card real quick?
Yeah, let's go through the card. There were a couple of exciting things that happened on Tuesday, so
Tell me about them as we get through the card. How about
yeah,
that?
absolutely, that works.
Okay, so I'm just going to start from the top and we'll work our way down. For the Impact World Championship, Rich Swann, the champion, defends against Tommy Dreamer on his 50th birthday.
Happy birthday, Tommy Dreamer. You saw the like happy birthday Tommy Dreamer messages, I'm sure.
From the AEW talent.
Yeah.
So mean.
It was very funny. I love that. I like Tommy Dreamer seems like a very good man to have that stuff go out there. It was great.
That's true.
Again, not a good enough reason to headline a pay-per-view. But whatever.
Oh, come on, it's his birthday.
I don't care. Like it better be amazing, and it's not going to be.
No.
Like it's just
yeah.
not.
Fair. Listen, yes, I expect Rich Swann to win, or again, I'll play Darkest Timeline guy. Moose costs Rich Swann the match, and Moose gets Tommy Dreamer and easily defeats Tommy Dreamer for the Impact World Championship, and it's Moose versus Kenny Omega at Rebellion, which is a match that you wanted.
Yeah, that sounds excellent. You know what? Maybe they're playing more advanced chess game than I'm giving them credit for, which is a great idea. Do it.
I'll do it. Okay. For the Impact World Tag Team Championship, we have the Good Brothers defending against Private Party from AEW and Chris Sabin and James Storm. Sabin and Storm were added this past week. Tell me why, because I need to know.
Private Party came out and tapped one of them to break up a pin. So now they get to be included because they lost their shot. I don't know.
Okay.
James Storm did a real badass tilt-a-whirl head scissors, which
Oh, I'm into that.
which is great to see a man that size do that. So
Yeah, no, that works for me. Meanwhile, I'm really hoping that this opens up more Impact talent going to AEW. I don't just want to see the Good Brothers going over to Dynamite. I want to see more of the Impact talent start migrating towards AEW, and vice versa. I don't just want Good Brothers and Private Party. I want a little bit more. So let's move on with the X Division Championship. TJP defends against Rohit Raju. All I can say is please let Rohit win and let Mahabali Shera beat the crap out of TJP.
Yeah, that would be excellent. Like Rohit's doing so good with that title, and there's so many like excellent contenders for him that I think just leave it on him and cycle these guys through for a little while. And you can let one of those guys grab it, but like keep him in the picture because he's doing a great job.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? It'll be a good match. Like TJP is a trash human, but unfortunately, better or worse, he's
wrestling. Very good.
That's the problem.
Like that.
But yes, I would love to see Rohit back on top.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's move on. For the Impact Knockout Tag Team Championships, we got Fire and Flava taking on Havoc and Nevaeh. Now, Fire and Flava have hooked me, and Havoc and Nevaeh, they aren't there for me yet. I'm waiting on that moment where I kind of feel not necessarily connection, but like something that makes me want to root for them.
Yeah, there's not a lot of excitement there, and they're the faces in this, so it's like I don't know. What do I like? The other two have a lot more personality, is what I'm getting right now. So it's just like I would like the people who are at least doing interesting things week after week, other than just, they're doing Havoc and Nevaeh are doing the heel thing by interrupting Kiara and Tasha's matches all the time and stuff like that. Like that's not really a face tactic to like get people all distracted and stuff. So
at the same time, what Kiara and Tasha are doing is inherently evil. So they're really just offsetting the evil.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see. I between the two, honestly, I think Fire and Flava are going to retain. I know we haven't given any predictions here, but between everything, let's keep going. Triple threat revolver match. It's going to be Daivari versus Suicide versus Willie Mack versus Ace Austin versus Chris Bay versus Josh Alexander versus Trey Miguel versus Blake Christian. Wow, that's a lot of people. And the way the match works, it's a triple threat. And then when someone is pinned, someone else comes in, and it's a triple threat with revolving characters until we're down to the last three, and then it's a regular triple threat match. Someone gets pinned, someone wins. It's not an elimination match. It's not elimination style at the end.
Yeah. It's just a triple threat once everyone's been through it.
That's right. Anyone out of this pack you would like to see get their X Division Championship match out of this?
I feel like there's a push coming for Ace Austin, which might mean that TJP might keep its title. Just
true.
So that there's that. Trey Miguel's obviously in the picture. I don't know what type of situation he negotiated when he stuck with Impact. If he had to negotiate, if he could negotiate anything, I don't know what his contract status was. But Trey, I like, they're pushing him hard right now. It feels like I don't love the character they've set up for him. I feel like him being just a meanish guy now is not really enough. But he's got some fire in the ring, and him throwing on. Yeah, I don't know. I really only see either Ace Austin or Trey taking it.
I have a feeling that Sammy Callahan is going to take out Trey Miguel from this match mid-match.
Yeah, exactly.
I just had that feeling.
I forgot they did the thing last week. They didn't really feature him too much this week, but still enough.
I wouldn't mind a shock. I would like to see Josh Alexander maybe walk out with that, or at least have a standout performance in the match. Blake Christian is still relatively new to an Impact audience, so I am really excited to see if they want to put a little bit more behind him. And meanwhile, going back to the AEW Impact talk, I would love to see Chris Bay, Ace Austin, and Trey Miguel run roughshod over AEW for a bit.
Yeah, it would be cool to see them there.
And on the other side, Lee Johnson and Peter Avalon, have them come and join the X Division for a little bit of Impact. Especially after this past week on AEW Dynamite, where Johnson gets the win and talks about how last year he didn't have a good year. He was 22 or 28. 29. Thank you. My God. So why not have them kind of go and hone their character? Peter Avalon as a character against Johnny Swinger, I think would be absolutely hilarious.
I would love to see that. Like,
there's a lot of opportunity. Speaking of opportunity, in a 6-woman tag, Deonna Purrazzo, the Impact Knockouts champion. Kimberly and Susan take on the team of Jordan Grace, Jazz, and ODB. I'm just waiting for Jordan's big send-off.
You don't think she's going to stick around, eh? There's no reason.
I don't know. She's done so much in Impact.
Yeah.
They have such a deep division. If she wants to move over to AEW or get signed by WWE, I mean, that's her choice. I just don't know where she can end up. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, she'd fit in anywhere she goes. Like, I think she's top tier talent. Like, she would not be out of place in NXT. But
on the other hand, I think in this match, we could see Jazz pin Deonna Purrazzo and set up a Knockouts championship match between the two.
Yeah.
Maybe at Rebellion. I still have a feeling that as we get towards the summertime and as contracts do start to come up, I'm still behind doing a Jordan Grace versus Jazz loser leaves Impact match.
Yeah, we could get there, I guess. Like if Jazz, you have to have Jazz lose a few matches, right? Like it would have to frustrate Jordan or something.
Well, Jordan's already frustrated because she's lost a bunch of matches.
Yeah, I know, but like you'd have to keep the train going. So yeah.
Right. Well, all right. Cody Deaner takes on Jake Something. By the way, I'm so damn happy. They finally are calling him Jake Something after this week's promo where he and Violent by Design are face to face. I was so much happier seeing Jake Something say the words. I posted it on my Twitter, the whole, the from The Simpsons where I didn't do it and say the line part. Same thing with Jake Something.
It's such nonsense, but yeah, it is good to see him be a different person that isn't like cousin Jake Deaner. So I'm glad to see him transition to it. The way to get there was like narratively clunky because if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for I don't know. It was weird. If you don't stand for something, yeah. Anyway,
you'll fall for anything. And you know what? That's so much better than other options that could have been like, I just need something. And then he says, oh, I'm something. I would rather him do something like, if you stand for nothing, you won't, or if you stand for something, you won't fall for anything. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's going to be a good match. It's going to be fun. Eddie Edwards and Matt Cardona are going to team up, take on Brian Myers and Hernandez. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'd love to see it as a pre-show match. Good enough.
Yeah.
Anything
Brian
else?
Myers paying Hernandez makes sense. That's cool.
Yep.
Fallen Boss saw the cash that Hernandez was being paid, I guess. So they're not done.
They'll never be done. Not as long as there's money to be traded and eye patches to be worn. All right. And finally, Tennille Dashwood and Triple XL take on the Team of Decay with their new Black Taurus. And I ain't talking about the car.
Yeah. Like that was an interesting surprise. And that guy looks crazy. I don't follow AAA, so I don't know anything about him. But damn, that's a good look. I'm into it.
So let me put this into perspective for you. When you remember Cain Velasquez came into WWE and there was a lot of fanfare about his joining WWE. So it actually came because he had debuted in AAA in Mexico. Okay. He had a match, a 6-man tag, where he was on the other side of the ring from Taurus, the same Black Taurus. And Taurus basically carried Kane to a very, very good match in that triple threat, or in that 6-man tag. So if you go back, you can watch it. I think it was a Triple Mania 2018. So if you go back and watch that match, you'll see Taurus was, first of all, a fantastic wrestler, like a very, very good, powerful wrestler. Go and watch that match. Seeing Black Taurus with Decay really intrigues me. I don't know what to expect other than he's going to be like their Minotaur or something weird.
I don't know how he can wrestle with that thing on his head, but he did a damn good job of it. So
been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
So that is Impact No Surrender. That's this Saturday on Impact Plus, or you can get it, I believe, on Fight TV as well. Give it a chance because Impact continues to impress every single week. Again, sometimes they miss on TV, but we watch Impact every single Tuesday night over on the Twitch at twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. That's where we watch it every single Tuesday night. If you're out of the region and you want to watch it, you can watch it with us. You can also like this video, subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/TimandJoelPod. Let's move on, shall we? AEW, talk to me. Main event. What'd you like?
Main event was good. There was there were a lot of my God, there were a lot of moments that were pretty good. Potato, obviously, we have to say potato again and again. It was pretty great. The fight in the kitchen itself overall was very good. I think it was kind of funny watching the steel table, like the stainless steel table spot where the ref is like holding the thing from wheeling away from Kenta and John. It's like, oh, okay, it's very transparent. You know, those tables have locks on the wheels usually at the bottom. Anyway, you know. I think like it made Archer look really good overall. Did it make Kenta look that good?
Oh, you see that finish, or not the finish, but the spot with the
Table.
the
Yep.
foot stomp to the table, that kind of made it for
But was
Kenta.
that enough? One thing for a guy that is not necessarily super known to casuals, right?
Fair.
Like I think
On
he
the other
he
side of
needed
it,
more moments. Like
I think on the other side of it, they wanted to keep it a little bit mysterious or safe, as it were. I know he's talk about him doing a massive spot to a table from the outside, from the stage, whatever.
you
But I
land
think
on your
because
feet.
this, yeah, but I think because the relationship with New Japan is very delicate right now, they're trying to keep it safe so that guys like Kenta, who are one of their main stars over on Strong and in Japan as well, still maintains not only their health but also their credibility.
That's a fair point.
So,
That's a really fair point about that. But overall, match was great.
yeah,
Like I loved that they kind of took it all over the place. So.
so Lance Archer takes the finish. You had the Good Brothers beat down his manager Jake Roberts. Is like, what do you do with Lance Archer now? What's his next? Does he challenge for the AEW World Championship because Kenny pinned him? That's a WWE rhetoric. That's not very much an AEW thing to do.
Yeah, he's in a weird position. Like I think his look, his gimmick doesn't work for anything but a heel, really. Like I just and with Jake the Snake, like I mean, you know, you're much better suited to doing heel work. So I get him back there somehow, put him in the upper mid card again until we can figure out what we're gonna do with him. Like
There's room for him for sure.
yeah,
I
like
just
he's got a
like you, I don't
place.
know where to put him.
Yeah.
And I guess my question is, do you see Kenta returning to AEW after the IWGP US title match with Mox?
I don't know, man. Everything feels kind of their roster is so deep. Like it's cool to have these things, but I don't know that they need to carry on with it for too long, right? Like have it come in and out periodically. I
Yeah.
feel like that would give it
Yeah.
the most bang for its buck for all involved, honestly. Like if it's an ever present thing, then it's just WWE versus everyone, right? That's what happens.
Right. Well, and potatoes.
I love potatoes, man. The
Me
best
too.
food.
Had them in my dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Speaking of potatoes, Darby Allin and Joey Janela had one hell of an opening contest.
Oh,
And
because
yes, we'll
they're
talk about
good.
what
Because
happened
they're
to Darby.
good.
We'll talk about Darby afterwards with his Jackass segment. A very fun
Ugh.
opener, a lot of top rope and outside action. It was very on brand for both men. There's good chemistry. We talked
Yeah.
about it in our PW Unlimited series on the weekly draw. And talking about like high flyers and chemistry, Matt Seidel told AEW Unrestricted podcast that he wants to compete for the TNT title.
Yeah, and he should.
I think I want to see that.
Yeah, he has a place there. Like they need to. I don't know. Like there's a lot. I like slow burn storytelling, but some of this is like a bit much. Like the Team Taz thing seems aimless. Like Team Taz seems like a joke. Is you versus one guy and an old man, and you have done nothing. There are 5 of you. Like
Yeah, but the old man has a big truck and body bagged the other guy and dragged him across the parking lot.
oh man, no. The old man being Sting. Like
Oh, he's the
team,
other old man.
either way, Team Taz should have this in the bag. One of them should have the TNT title at this point. It's ridiculous. Darby Allin's not doing that good of a job keeping. Like he can't even keep himself from getting kidnapped in a bag. Like how can he not get pinned? He could just unzip the bag and roll out. What is going on?
We're Team Taz, and this is Jackass.
Oh my god. It's a bag.
We call this one the body bag surf.
You shove your finger in the threads and it loosens up. It's a bag.
Whatever. Sting is going to slow walk to save his friend.
Yeah, he'll get there in about 30 years.
He got there like 10:30 being like, all right, where are they?
No, Darby's in a
Tony?
ditch. He's
Tony,
in a
where'd they
shallow
go?
grave somewhere.
Speaking of shallow graves, Sammy Guevara leaves the inner circle. He's going to take time off. Revolution is a month away. Maybe we can put Sammy in Impact for a bit.
You know what they did? They did what we said. We said, don't drag this out. And they got to the point. And I said, take Sammy out of the inner circle. And they did it. So we may have been very wrong about the Elimination Chamber, but we talked about this and they're doing it. And I love it. Glad to see it happen.
The segment with MJF was really good.
Yes.
However, I'm going to ask you, is there any chance that the inner circle turns on MJF instead and they become the happy good guy family and MJF resets to being a bad guy with Wardlow?
With Proud and Powerful having a tag match next week, I can see the inner circle completely imploding in the near future.
Oh man, there's this idea going around that Pride and Powerful, LAX formerly, is if they're gonna have this tag team championship match, if they can win it and it becomes inner circle versus inner circle at Revolution, I'm a fan of that. Exactly. I don't want to see the Young Bucks take on Jericho and MJF. I don't. I'd rather see a well-oiled tag team inside the inner circle prove that they can beat the two guys who are the leadership of the inner circle.
Yeah, like that's the story. That's a great story. And like the Young Bucks don't need the tag titles. They half run the company. Like they don't need it. They're involved with a bigger angle. Give it to Proud and Powerful, who absolutely deserve it, and have them have a hell of a match and implode the inner circle. Move on to different things. It's been a slow burn of a story. Like this stuff is ramping up at a reasonable pace, I think. So let's wrap it up.
With Sammy taking time off, I have a very, very important question to ask you.
Yeah.
How will Sammy Guevara defend the BTE title now?
I don't know.
He just won the damn thing.
Maybe it's going to be, made vacant. Or he'll defend it in absentia somehow. Some sort of...
If you watched BTE this past week, he didn't do a very good job of setting up any of the challenges. It was god-awful. They couldn't ask the questions in the competition. It was very awkward. I said it when he won the BTE title. I'm like, great, that's 5 minutes of BTE that I can skip through now until he loses. And he proved me right.
Yeah. They'll just strip him of the title. That's it.
Layla Hirsch and Thunder Rosa was a very, 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 very good match.
Excellent.
But at 9:30 again.
Yeah. Well, 9:20.
Everything old is new again.
A little earlier.
No, that's the thing they do. Now it's 9:15, 9:20. It's still the match that precedes the main event and comes after a big angle. So, okay, is there a reason? Is there a good spin that you can put on having the match every single week? Does it create the expectation? Does it create that appointment viewing that WWE doesn't actually think exists anymore, which I tend to agree with? Is there a reason to do it every single week at the same time?
Is there a market for people who just tune in for women's wrestling for a program that only has one women's match per episode? Like, is that a thing? That doesn't sound like a thing to me. So I don't know. I don't see why they would be doing it.
There are absolutely fans of women's wrestling. I'm one of them.
Duh. Yeah, that wasn't
I know,
the question,
but the point that I'm trying to make here is I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah.
There are not many people. There are people who would say, wake me up when the women's match is on. That's fine. Or like they only follow women's wrestling exclusively. They don't care about the men. Casey Michael, rest his soul, amazing person that he was a big, big, big proponent for women's wrestling. And his whole thing used to be like, wake me up when the women are on. So people like that exist. They are few and far between. That being said, there aren't that many to make up the reason to do appointment viewing.
Is there something that's happening on NXT consistently at that point? It's usually a promo, yeah?
Yeah, and this week it felt like they were countering each other very well with promos, but it doesn't feel like that's the reason why.
Okay, but for argument's sake, I don't know. I haven't looked at it. But if NXT were consistently running promo segments at that point and they choose to air a match at that point, that would make some sense, no? Because that way the people who are in it for the actual in-ring action might flip over to AEW at that point to look at what's going on and to give the women like an additional bump from perhaps divergent NXT viewership.
I'd have to go back and look at the quarter hours and I'd have a better idea of what was going on, but it's very inconsistent in terms of NXT, what they're up to at that point.
Because they vary the program, which is what I would prefer and am accustomed to with most wrestling television, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe they do have some rationale for it. And if not, why? I don't know. There must be a reason if they're keeping it closely guarded. If it is for some generous reason and not just because, like, I don't know, put it here.
And again, like the women's matches on Dark are great. The women who are involved on Dark are getting a lot of reps. They're getting the opportunity to work on a TV show, which is something that a lot of them haven't had a chance to do. So there's goodness there. I'm not ragging on the AEW women's division. I'm still here saying I want it to be better. I have a problem with 9:30 being the slot, and it's very much the same thing every single week in terms of presentation. I'm done with that.
Yeah, and like they've given themselves the opportunity to do something different here with the tournament. I know I said this as a gag, but like if we're gonna do this one match at a time, it's gonna drag on forever. And I know they're gonna do stuff on Dark and like some other matches, but it's just like you have the opportunity to put multiple women's matches on your program, on your 2-hour program now because you've created a reason to. So do it. Like have 2 matches from that tournament. Have one of the Japanese side ones air during Dynamite. Like, why not? So,
well, because they're all going to air on YouTube, but that's not the point.
yeah, but then why do it at all? Like, that's my question.
I get it. Also, I'm a fan of having the YouTube content because it is going back to appointment viewing and the linear eyeballs, as we were talking about last week with the Q4 and the fiscal 2020 year call. That it's a thing. It is a thing. People are not tuning in at appointed hours. They're turning it on when they want to. So I get that. And I agree with that. And you want that YouTube content because it also lives forever. Whereas putting it on Dynamite, I get it, but that's the way it is. So we'll table the discussion because I think we've had it a bunch of times to drive ourselves crazy. Meanwhile, in the match, Thunder Rosa continues to wrestle like she doesn't know how to be a pro wrestler. And it's amazing. It's in the best, most like spirited way possible.
Yeah,
I'm a
aggressive.
fan.
It's really aggressive and it feels like it's got like a genuine energy to it that's refreshing. So,
meanwhile, Layla Hirsch wrestles like an MMA fighter, and for me, that made the match between the two even better because it was clunky in a very competitive way.
Yeah, it was as JR would say, catch as catch can. Like it was rough and tumble the whole time. They just tried to look for an opening in each other, and it worked. It read really well on screen, I thought. So,
yeah. And if you like what you're seeing on screen right now, you can tap that like button. You can subscribe to us on youtube.com/Tim and Joel Fightful. So, wow, Tim and Joel Pod is where we are. We'll do Fightful after this. I know you're giving me a death stare. Twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming is where we play games. YouTube.com/Tim and Joel Pod is where we do our show. Let's talk
Tim
about
and Joel Pod at Tim and Joel Pod everywhere.
I'm gonna have you do the plugs from now on because I don't know where I am anymore. TakeOver Vengeance Day is this Sunday, Valentine's Day.
Where we
celebrate with your significant other.
We must celebrate Saint Vengeance, his Lord in bloodshed.
That's right.
The holiest day.
Will you be celebrating? Will you be celebrating significant other?
There will be an offering.
A vengeance offering.
It's best to keep this. These matters are private matters, sir.
Right. Well, what's not private is that we'll be giving our predictions on PW Unlimited this Sunday. You can check it out. It'll be live. We'll be in the chat. We'll hang out with you over on the YouTube channel for PW Unlimited. For the women's Dusty Cup dates, yes, that's one more week where you get to hear me say that. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez will take on Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon, who defeated Indy and Candice on Wednesday. So that's going to be the women's Dusty Cup final. And finally, they announced that the winner of the women's Dusty Cup will receive a women's tag team title shot. Finally. I like it.
Take them down. Like bring the women's tag belts to NXT. They have a better division for it.
Yeah. And you know what? If Dakota and Raquel win, I would love to see them face new women's tag team champions, Naomi and Lana. Dominate them and win the tag team championships after WrestleMania. What do you think? Yes. Don't laugh at me.
That sounds fine. Oh, we didn't talk about that match on Raw. We talked about so much on Raw.
Oh, we didn't talk about my hole.
In my hole.
Well,
that was the worst delivery.
I'm over it. It's been done to death at this point. So let's keep going with the Dusty Cup. Yeah, everyone else has talked about my hole. I don't want to talk about my hole anymore. In the main event of Dusty Classic action, we had another excellent match as Grizzled Young Veterans defeated Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. Ciampa taking the pin, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that.
It was
You
good.
keep seeing Thatcher. He keeps losing. So now it's time to give it up. Give him some retrieval.
I know. It's good. It was a good match. It was very, very good. I like Tommaso Ciampa, and I want him to have good things. But I don't know where we're going with him now.
I waver on Ciampa, but it was a solid match. I'm ready for GYV versus MSK TakeOver. It's going to be a simple back and forth, high flying match with two teams that have very hard hitting versus high flying styles. It's going to be like, oh God, it's going to be like FTR taking on Jurassic Express. But if it was like Stunt and Jungle Boy. No, not so much.
No, it'll be
FTR. It's going to be like FTR taking on Lucha House Party.
Yeah, that sounds good. It'll
do
be
that.
cool.
Okay.
MSK might kill themselves. We'll see.
It's fine with me. Speaking of MSK, their match with the Legado del Fantasma earlier in the night was actually really, really good and full of new spots and wonderful, like, open match style. I was into that. Hot Fire Flame, by the way, they doing that from the apron to the floor was really fun. I like that.
They put over Legado more than I've been more excited about them recently than I ever have been. So it's really like it's working in so many different ways. Like MSK was exactly what they needed to inject into NXT, I think, for this tag team stuff. So
I'm a fan. We're gonna move on.
Good.
Can we talk about Hurt Johnny Gargano being the best Johnny Gargano?
God, the whole bit was so good. Regal was so good.
Tell me about it. Tell the people at home.
This is not what an X-ray is. That R stands for right. Like, it was amazing. Oh, I'm choking on my own spit. Kushida's great. My God, Kushida is doing so well. The bit when he showed up, the bit when Regal let out a little, very subtle half chuckle that was just flawless, and then Kushida was just like, and then he starts beating everyone up. Like, amazing.
Yeah, Regal was all over last night's show and like knocked it out of the park each time, including the segment with Scarlett, where Scarlett was like, Jedi mind tricked Regal, who was already ready to do the match.
Yeah.
Like, you'll give me Karrion Kross versus Santos Escobar, and Regal's like, sure. I will give you Karrion Kross versus Santos Escobar.
There's literally no reason for me not to make that match. There's nothing at stake. Like, one more slot filled, down for it. Okay. She's like, if he
and it's not going to be a takeover. It's not a takeover, and that's fine by me.
Yeah, it's fine.
Murder on ice.
Yeah.
We've come to the moment. We've come to the best part of the show last night. GameStop. Dog coins.
Dog coin, not Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. To the moon.
To the moon.
Oh my God. Cameron Grimes makes his return. And I was excited because I'm a Cameron Grimes fan.
Did he make his return? Or is he gone forever? It ended in a way that I wasn't expecting. It sounds like he's gone forever. I have no idea.
He's gone forever. Absolutely.
But they didn't,
they didn't
really say that he sold. He did the parabolic thing, I guess. So he understands stocks. Part of what was, I was like, did he actually sell?
Tim. He understands stonks.
Stonks. He does understand the stonks. Yeah.
He doesn't understand stocks. He understands stonks.
So
what's actually really funny, if you go and check his Twitter, since December, he's been doing the stock market memes. He's been like legitimately doing this since December.
Is Cameron Grimes actually rich?
Amazing. He's all about the stonks. And if Cameron Grimes, if the idea becomes that Grimes then crashes because he didn't actually take out, like he's not holding, and then he becomes very poor Cameron Grimes, back to it. I'm all about it. And again, it's the same. They've done this trope before where we had Nydia Jamie Noble win the lottery back in the day in 2000 SmackDown. And this one's a little bit more fun because Grimes is just absolutely insane as well. But still, one of the better promos I've seen, not only out of Grimes, but just out of NXT in the last little while. Big fan of that.
Like I said, it just ended so weird. Like he takes on Regal. Regal says nothing, doesn't show up. Like what's happening?
He's like, "What? You're gonna put me in this? You put me in this match?
I ain't wrestling zombies."
That's right. I'm all for it. If this is the way that Cameron Grimes wants to flirt with disaster, let's do it. That's right. NXT guy right here. Yeah. So instead, we're going to focus our efforts to SmackDown tomorrow night in the preview, where literally one thing exists, and that's Braun Strowman has a staph infection. No, sorry, that's not it. That is a thing, though. Seth Rollins is going to return all over SmackDown last week. Any expectations for Seth Rollins from you?
No, I don't even know full stop whether he's going to show up this time. He didn't last time. They're still calling him the Messiah, which is a bit disappointing to me. So he's not getting a rebrand. He's coming back. He's going to be... They dropped the other crap they were doing. I think they tried to change it to fit SmackDown, but now they just dropped the Monday night. Yeah, I don't know. More Mysterio stuff. Maybe that's Rey Mysterio's secret weapon for Baron Corbin. He's made up with Seth Rollins, and he's going to help them.
I have a feeling that that wasn't the intended plan for Seth Rollins.
Do you think they just dropped that? They just dropped that entirely? That we're not going to hear about it again?
Very much so. I have a feeling someone leaving the company last week may have played a major part in that being dropped. By the way, speaking of dropped, by the way, I sat in on the Triple H media call. I was listening in, and at the end of it, our good friend, he's not really my friend of yours, but we just know him, Nick Hausman from Wrestling Inc., asked a question about Steve Cutler being released by WWE to Triple H.
Bold.
And Triple H was just like, I'm not the guy. He's not the guy. He's not the HR director. I don't know what you expect from that. I don't know what kind of answer he expected to hear from Triple H. It was just one of those moments where I think Hausman thought it was going to be, he was going to get something out of Triple H, who normally doesn't have anything of interest to say in these calls.
Yeah.
But it made Triple H sound very uncomfortable, along with the Velveteen Dream question that Jason Powell asked.
There was a Velveteen Dream question.
Yes. Any updates on Velveteen Dream? And of course, he's like, no, he's still here. He's basically... He's like that relative that comes and crashes on your couch and you just can't get rid of him. That's basically
what he's shelved because, like, what do you do, right? Like, terminating him is challenging because nothing's been legally done, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but yeah, so we have going back to SmackDown. We have Seth Rollins coming back. I think maybe he'll, find himself interjecting a little bit between the Roman and Edge stuff. Maybe there's a match for Seth Rollins and Edge in the interim. Maybe we can tell the story of how Seth Rollins took Edge hostage once upon a time when Edge couldn't wrestle.
Yeah, okay. I guess we could do that.
I would mind. Yeah, that was 2016. It's when Edge was when Seth Rollins was like newly heel and like the Authority Rollins.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It was a really, really, really good segment. It was to bring back the Authority after I think it was to reinstate the Authority after they lost at Survivor Series. And John Cena, he's like, make the choice. Either I stomp Edge's head or you bring back the Authority. And John Cena had to make the call.
Interesting.
In for that. And then meanwhile, we had the fallout from Adam Pearce and Paul Heyman and their discussion on Talking Smack that you and I talked about over on PW Unlimited. You think Adam Pearce is going to get shit canned?
No, not a chance. He's fine. Oh, maybe. Well, he's got a replacement waiting in the wings.
Oh, a very, very well-to-do suit-wearing young lady.
Exactly. Maybe.
I'm into that. And yes, we did mention, so Braun, I don't know if it's staff, but Braun Strowman on his Instagram story earlier today said that he was out of action again because of an infection that he had in his arm after he had already healed from another surgery. So for whatever reason, he's out again. Don't know how long, but he said something like, I dropped 15 pounds and then I think made it up with 50 pounds in water weight on his joints. So real interesting thing. Braun Strowman eventually comes back.
Awful. Poor man.
Yeah. What's not awful is if you like the video and you subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/TimandJoelPod. I got it right this time. You can catch us this Sunday on PW Unlimited. We're going to give our NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day picks. And I'll give you guys a little bit of behind the curtain with our weekly draw series. It's going... No, I can't tell them.
No,
we're gonna change it up a little bit. We're going to, and you're going to see in the next couple of weeks, because we have a couple of pay-per-views to run down, which is what we do when there's a pay-per-view week. We give our predictions. We're going to be changing up the format, so keep an eye out on PW Unlimited for, I guess, 2 weeks from now when we debut an updated weekly draw. How's that? And none of us have staff.
No, not yet.
But where can the kids find you on the internet, Tim?
Kids can find me at TimStoneP, TimbStonep on Twitter.
And you can find the show and all of us over at youtube.com/TimandJoelPod. We're also on all forms of social media at TimandJoelPod or TimandJoelPod.com. You can find us next, if you're watching us live right now, over at Fightful Gaming at twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. Tim and I are going to take on our friends Jeremy and Hannah in Mario Kart 64. We're going to beat their aces. No? Okay, maybe not. And if you like what you're listening to, you can leave us some tip jar love over at streamlabs.com/TimandJoelPod. You can find me on all forms of social media at Joel Pearl, JoelPearl. Oh, I think we did it. That's it. Until then, you can tell your friends to tell their neighbors, to tell their best friends and their cousins and their uncles and their aunts and their dogs and maybe the cheetahs that they own or the people in the backyard or the best friends having a party, but because it's COVID, you want to call the cops because the cops should break up these parties because it's COVID season and everyone should be safe and wearing masks and social distancing and not partying together. What the hell's wrong with you? Oh, sorry. The point is you can listen to our show and support us, please, because we love you and we just want to see the best for you. But for now, ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we'll see you next week. Enjoy your wrestling.